U.S. Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner came to Capitol Hill to tout the positive. He says the U.S. strategy to repair and reform the financial sector after years of crisis is now producing a more resilient system. Still, there's a lot of glum news that Republican lawmakers hammered away at, including the uncertainty about the economic future. CCTV's Sean Callebs now joins us on set with the latest. Hi, Sean.
Well, Phil, Timothy Geithner actually spent a lot of time today before lawmakers detailing the current state of Wall Street. However, in his prepared remarks, he failed to address an international interest rate rigging scandal. And even if President Obama is reelected, no one expects Geithner will remain as Treasury Secretary. The question now is, what kind of shape will the U.S. economy be in when he walks away? U.S. Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner says one threat above all others is the greatest risk to the financial well-being of the United States.
The ongoing European crisis presents the biggest risk to our economy.
He told members of the House Financial Services Committee the EU crisis is draining the world economy as a whole, stunting efforts for global economic growth, and generally leading to a tightening of financial conditions.
No, that's not what I'm saying. And I'm saying that we did not take full responsibility for this.
There is another immediate concern referred to as the financial cliff, a punishing tandem of scheduled tax increases and severe federal budget cuts that could derail recovery efforts. Geithner is urging lawmakers to put partisan politics aside and think of the greater good.
The slowdown in U.S. growth could be exacerbated by concerns about the approaching tax increases and spending cuts, and by uncertainty about the shape of the reforms to tax policy and spending that will ultimately be necessary to restore fiscal sustainability.
Geithner appeared before the congressional panel for about 2.5 hours and was grilled by lawmakers for allegedly failing to alert Congress 4 years ago that banks were rigging a key global interest rate, now known as the LIBOR, London Interbank Offered Rate. Republicans in Congress accused Geithner of doing little or nothing to head off the practice while the global economy tanked.
And if this is the crime of the century, as so many people are reporting it to be, never once did you ever come and mention it as being a problem. Never once did you come here and say, this is what you're going to do about it.
At the time, Geithner was head of the New York Federal Reserve Bank. Geithner contends he acted quickly once learning of the concerns in early 2008.
We took the initiative to bring those concerns to the attention of the broader U.S. regulatory community, including all the agencies that have responsibility for market manipulation and abuse.
And how big is the growing scandal? Just last month, Barclays cut a $450 million settlement deal with British and U.S. authorities after being accused of wrongdoing. 10 global banks are being investigated. Separately, President Obama today praised Senate Democrats for approving an extension of tax cuts for the middle class, but not for the really wealthy in the United States. However, GOP leaders are calling it a non-issue, saying the measure has no chance of congressional approval. Phil?
Isn't this frustrating, though? I mean, you've been following this for a long time. We've had these discussions on air and off air. Basically, the House has their own package, the Senate has their package, and neither seem to want to vote for each other's package. What's happening here?
Well, and I think that the American public is listening to what the experts are saying. We are at the edge of an abyss. And if we come with a double whammy of tax increases as well as dramatic spending cuts, look, the economy is not doing so great. Do you want to pull the plug and put us back into the conditions we were back in 2008? People want the politicians to quit voting down the aisles, to think of the people. And we're going to find out in November just how much they're watching this.
Great stuff, Sean. Also ironic that the Congress seemed to blame Timothy Geithner and the rest of the world seems to blame Congress.